obvious go-to here as a result, but it's going to be LeBlanc. So blind LeBlanc for Bjergsen, kind of throwing down the gauntlet a little bit to Abbeddage, because when you blind solo on first pick like this, you get double counter pick on red side, right? You can counter pick in your first round for Abbeddage, and then you can counter pick last pick here for Ssumday as well. So Bjergsen looking to get aggressive.
I absolutely agree. I also think this could be a little bit of a meta read thing from TL where they just think LeBlanc is OP.
Yeah.
Because in their series against Evil Geniuses, they banned LeBlanc all 5 games. So if it's up, they're not going to let the other team have it, and they take it first.
Viego. And again, I mean, it's his clearly second priority. Lee Sin has been first ban every single time for TL. He's like, okay, first chance I get, I'm grabbing Viego.
I wonder if TL are going to go, really kind of early game skewed and go towards the Volibear, which has been getting banned out against them constantly, because Volley plus LeBlanc, there's not a lot of 2v2s that can actually go up against that. And that's something they're going to have to be, careful about. Closer here is going to be back on the Viego. Lee Sin banned away again. And it will be the Aphelios priority here for FBI, so still going that scaling route. Hans has been also really happy to go the more supportive route, and actually one of the guys who's playing Ashe a lot, which can be very effective. So if you want to play, higher damage and higher priority towards mid and play around the LeBlanc, you can go that supportive route and just forgo the Zeri, let that fall through, and go something that doesn't need as much help, like a Jhin or an Ashe.
Yeah, I mean, you can see 100 Thieves.
Zeri anyway.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Zeri 0-6 in the LCS playoffs so far. So will the curse be broken, or
100% pick ban?
Is TL going to? Yeah, exactly. It's clearly a highly prized. People consider it good. And like with a sample of 6 games, like it's not that hard to coin flip into 6 losses if she is, just slightly better than the average champion.
Yeah.
Either way, obviously hasn't looked good so far, but we'll see what comes out of this one. TL definitely have the better early game champion. I would say in LeBlanc in general. Zeri definitely. Aphelios does outscale that. J4, so
this is full ganking early.
Are trying to take you down quick.
I find this really interesting, actually, because I was thinking of what Santorin would play into Viego in particular. Trundle, Volibear, Jarvan. So he had 3. They could have gone to 4-5 and maybe power pick something like a LEona here. But I think what they saw is
Vex.
Specifically wanting Jarvan against Aphelios for the team fight phase is what they went for. Because I think any of those 3 junglers, well, specifically more Volibear and Jarvan, would have been a very good pairing with LeBlanc, but Jarvan is more for team fighting.
Yep, absolutely. Volley, I think, is such a strong early game skirmisher, but it does fall off a lot more in the later stages. Jarvan's still bringing that utility. Vex here, though, obviously the Gloom passive being really powerful against champions with dashes. J4, LeBlanc, Zeri, all have dashes, pretty valuable there. Also, some safety can be grabbed by...
is that Kobe?
Yeah, that's Kobe behind that, for sure. Kobe's been pushing the Alawi. It's not going to happen, man. I've told Kobe, I'm telling you, I'm sorry.
If anyone does
not
this,
going to get Cat, no one's going to pick Alawi.
Yeah. He's banned.
That's terrible. Yeah, no Cat.
Yeah, Rengar maybe. Of all the champions, Bwipo, by the way, was on 18 champions coming into last game, not 19. And I was off by 1 as a pure guess. I counted, I was off by 1. Yeah, Price is right. I was over, right? So she's completely dead. But yeah, Rengar is a good split pusher right now. And yeah, if he's gonna play Alawi,
I don't think he's blinding Rengar.
No,
put that
no,
out
I think it's really unlikely. But you never know. 100 Thieves could pick Ornn on 4 here if they're really concerned about it.
Don't think he's picking Rengar into the Ornn either, though.
Who knows?
So we'll see.
I have no idea what that matchup looks like. But Team Liquid are like, hey, if you want to go keep playing Ornn, go ahead. Didn't work last time, buddy.
Yeah.
They clearly could ban top lane. They're like, nah, your fighters are better.
They could blind Ornn again if they want to get 2v2 advantage. But I think blinding your support makes sense. LeOna's a high prio engaged champion here. They banned away some of these champions that they were a little bit worried about. Yuumi, Renata, they have a dive that they're setting up. So I think banning out Renata was really smart. Such powerful counter engage from Renata. Now it's going to have to be Bwipo who is blinding. Will he go something a little bit more passive, or will he be the one that's kind of tasked with engaging?
It depends on the support pick in some ways.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're actually going to lock this. I mean, if they do, it feels like that you have a little bit more pressure on them, but no, it's not going to be. So, wow, they're just going to blind Aatrox. I feel like this is basically saying, you're just going to play Ornn every game, and I just want this matchup. Prove me wrong. So this is interesting, just blinding it, because it's been 4 straight Ornn games. If he just picks Ornn into it, then TL kind of have the read. But Gnar would be a tougher matchup, certainly, for the Aatrox. But it is one where you can find all-in pressure.
Nice.
Okay.
Remember, Tryndamere did receive a little bit of a nerf coming into this patch, so it's not the same power as it was during the regular split. It is definitely a wildly different looking draft than we saw in game one. Aside from the Aatrox and the Jarvan.
On 100 Thieves, this is 4 divers, right? You have Aphelios, but 4 people that want to dive in here. It's going to be really, really interesting. Ssumday has had some really strong Tryndamere games. He's also had some ones where he's created individual leads, but hasn't been able to close it out. It is a strong scaling pick here. You know, I do think you can outscale the Aatrox in the 1v1, but if Aatrox gets ahead of you, it can be very punishing because he has so much sustain. You can never threaten the all-in, and then you lose access to the wave, and when you lose access to the wave as Tryndamere, you become useless.
I do wonder a little bit about like the way fights can set up. I can see TL, it's all flanking, it's
already, this top lane is going to be spicy. Bwipo going Ignite here. Wants to be able to threaten the all-ins early. Again, so much of beating Tryndamere in matchups is denying him the wave, because if he can't auto-attack consistently, get that rage, he can't threaten all-ins, he has much less sustain. With the Ignite here, you can threaten a pre-6 kill. It's going to be very difficult for Ssumday, but at the same time, it kind of draws the attention of both junglers up there, because if you can force bad backs for an Ignite top laner, you lose so much.
Gonna be a lot of fun though. They see, okay, no one's in that brush. Woo! Yeah, vision. I mean, that's a sport play right there. We saw a brush, and he's like, yes! No one's in there, we're safe. I mean, what else can you be excited for as a sport player, you know?
I'm just thinking about this Aatrox pick more. It's like, how do you actually prep for Bwipo? Because the answer is you can. And it's not like picking Aatrox is this wild thing. It was a meta pick for years, especially going back to like 2018 Worlds. But he's played like 18 different champions. There's all these other picks for the meta. And then he just rolls up and blind picks Aatrox twice. Bwipo is unlike anyone else.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about this guy is that, you know, he has such extreme confidence in his own play, and he doesn't feel the need to emulate what other players are doing, right? One of my memories of Bwipo is always thinking back to the All-Stars events where he's playing 1v1, and he was playing such different picks than other people and winning this 1v1, tournament with these really different picks and different builds on the picks. Because of the way he just thinks through his kind of logic about the game is very different from a lot of other top pros.
Yeah, it's really cool. The only thing wider than Bwipo's champ pool is Bwipo himself. You know, it's really incredible.
I had to get that.
I was waiting. Like, you're sitting there.
This little smile on your face. You're like, oh, I got something cooking. I was like, what is it, Phreak?
Yeah, I've got a little easy bake oven there. It's not gourmet, but
it's definitely not gourmet.
No, nothing I've done has ever been gourmet. They went in the microwave for 5 minutes.
Food porn of jokes.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, 3AM jokes its own subreddit, by the way. You know, I'm practically a moderator there. Anyway, yeah, good start right now. 100 Thieves got level 2 first. Wow. They did not get first blood, though. So, clearly different results going to this one. But yes, Aphelios and LEona.
95 gold lead.
Wow, huge. And some of that's just in the 3 minutes.
Is it comebackable, Jatt?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you sure?
I'm willing to say that there's a high probability.
Oh, it's 25 now. Yeah, I think it's a big, they made it. Wow.
Swing.
They're back.
I can't believe they just got the entire gold lead reverted just off of that CS. That's really good mechanics. Wave clear, going back and forth the mid side. Bjergsen wants to get in range for the W, cannot find it. Not gonna have much more going on there. Does have the chain, didn't go for the attempt on it. And now we get to see the oversized sword top lane battle. Ultimately, they're just going for the minions instead.
Yeah, both junglers I think are going to want to be paying attention towards topside. Santorin did skip one camp, same path here as closer, getting a bit of a deep ward. And both guys are going to be at scuttle on spawn. The question is there any sort of early game play? Like, is the wave stacking top? I can't really see with the minimap. And if that wave's stacking, is he going to path up? He's just going to go for a quick recall here. Ssumday paying respect, not trading too heavily, allowing him to push in that wave. But without Santorin up there's no threat of actually getting any sort of dive off. So it's going to be a play towards mid or nothing.
Oh, gotta watch out here.
Got the engage. It's going to be enough for the stun. Yes, they'll land that as well. No good way out. First blood comes through. It's FBI's turn to earn 400 gold.
Oh, that's exactly the start 100 Thieves wants. And now Closer's trying to cut off the retreat path of Hans Sama. But it would be very difficult to dive, especially once they see Santorin.
Yeah, that's so big. Getting it on FBI, it's the exact reverse situation there now. FBI, with the early lead here on the scaling pick. Trading here in mid lane. As you can see, when you snap back, the glue motto is going to come out. Hans,
decent damage.
Nice dash.
Yeah, not an easy way to get the rest of the damage coming through. They know Ignite is down, so okay, just dash when the stun comes through and it'll be mostly fine. Stays alive, 700 gold lead right now. Thieves looking pretty good. Santorin seeing when you push the wave in, because Bjergsen's freezing. Yeah,
but that ward over by Raptors should have spotted him actually walking through. So they had eyes on him. It's a good deep ward that does spot him. Even though Abbeddage doesn't see him in the brush, you know that he's going to be there. And Bjergsen is trying to pull this wave into an awkward spot. It's the same thing he did last game on the TF. He likes to aggro the wave, walk to the side, try to set up this little mini freeze, try to bait his opponent into staying around longer to try to fully crash. In this case, Abbeddage is able to get that crash in, even though he's on no mana, will be able to get the reset.
Yeah, I think it's something that Bjergsen has actually been very good at for his entire career. Doesn't end up doing anything in this instance, but it's definitely the type of thing you need to do if you're trying to set up ganks with LeBlanc.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those things where if you didn't have that ward on Raptors that saw Santorin, maybe you don't push it in. Maybe you're too scared to actually walk up and do that. And that can get you an incremental advantage. These little advantages can help to chip away. As this lane ward is going to be critical. This lane ward here is good as spot closer as he walks through. Bwipo has the read that it would be a lane gank, and that's just smart play from him.
Good engage, yeah, stuns interrupt Rakan W, so knocks him out of it pretty quickly there. Able to dash back the second time to Huhi, and he's going to be all right. Ultimately, a little bit of stop. Now they're going to trade back and forth yet again. Misses the sweet spot from Bwipo. It's going to be 1 CS difference, but more for Bwipo to farm.
I think what Bwipo has done in this lane is actually doing more for TL's overall map state than it initially looks like. Closer spends so much time up here just to allow Ssumday the safety of crashing the wave. Remember, if Closer isn't up here, then the threat of the Bwipo Santorin gank before Ssumday was 6 would have been much higher. And since they got the first blood down in the bot side, that's 100 Thieves, like the first dragon could have been taken if they didn't have to come up here.
And Ssumday still hasn't even gotten a first base off now. He's in trouble here.
Oh, pretty big damage here. It's flashed into the Q. Decent damage. Ghost is on, though. Wow, okay. Doesn't want to ignite for ult. The cooldown's longer.
Exactly. Bwipo was trying to force out the ult there on the flash Q3. Was hoping he was going to ult and then use the ignite afterwards for a kill, but now Santorin, it's looking like he's in trouble.
Both supports here as well. 4v4 shortly, and it's going to be Abbeddage getting away with some life. A nice engage comes across the fear. Santorin will not yet die. Ssumday gets one. He'll have to ult times it against it. Okay, just barely at the end. 1 for 1, though, right jungler from mid. Abbeddage did lose his life on that play.
Yeah, the exhaust was critical there from Core onto the Vex when he dove in. I think Ssumday's ult was actually late there. I think the tower hit him first. He lived with about a couple HP, then ulted.
Calculated. The man's galaxy brain.
That was close. As Core's going to stay around and actually hold this wave. So again, it's this manipulation of the mid wave. He'll pull it to the side. It's not going to be a full hard freeze, but he will deny most of, if not that entire wave. And so back here to the top side, again, Bwipo is trying to stop the recall. He got the early push. Remember, Ssumday's not playing TP either, so Ssumday has never based. When he's spinning flashes in, he pops it, he goes in for the Q3, gets the auto. He was hoping Ssumday would ult there so that when he came back without ult, he could use the ignite to get a kill.
Oh, hello.
Going back in yet again, but a re-engage looking pretty good. Abbeddage, days are numbered, trying to walk away. 100 HP left onto him. They need one more shot. They're going to get it. CoreJJ just takes him down.
This is literally off of the freeze that Core just set up. Because you have that freeze, so you have to call your support mid as Abbeddage and say, hey, I need help. We've got to crash this wave. But TL just show up as well. They bring their jungler, they bring their support, knowing that's the play that 100 Thieves have to do, and they're one step ahead.
They're running the play over and over again. The first time it didn't work because there was a ward on Raptors, but then the next 2 times that they've ran the play, it's been able to work. So Abbeddage definitely not having a good time. He had a really rough regular season, really bounced back in a big way 2 weeks ago, but this, in both games, has been a heavily Bjergsen-favored mid lane.
Really well done, because now you've got TL up in gold right now. First blood, of course, is still that free extra 150, but this is TL doing so well in the late landing phase.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the solos. That's what TL is playing for, right? The solos are actually very far ahead in farm in both of these lanes and in early stages of the game. If they can continue to extend that advantage, it will mean a lot. The Tabby's rush here, very effective. It's Tryndamere and Viego. It's 2 auto attackers. It's pretty much a no-brainer there to be able to go for that. And Closer, will get spotted, so they have the idea that he's in the area. TL are moving up. We'll see if they want to try to contest
very late time, though.
Yeah, Zeri's moving though. They're not actually trying to trade plates. They're going back.
Yeah, so Santorin knows the control ward in that brush above him because his sweeper spots the sort of wireframe of it. Abbeddage in a good enough spot where Santorin's not going to have an easy way in. Says, is there going to be a sloppy play? Looks like there's not going to be one. Easy smite takes it. And he tries, right? Like, is there something that's going to happen for us? They're actually going to go for the knockup here because Aatrox on the way down. And it's going to force the ult. Closer may have not needed it, but ultimately he says, we'll burn the cooldown, make sure I'm safe, and going to claim that.
Little plays like that do make it much harder to pull off Rift Herald, but they're here again!
The chain, the double knock, got the done! Just everything lands! World domination! Bwipo gets wider and wider.
That looked very cool.
That was sick.
The visuals of everything, but that's the time the TL saved not contesting the Rift Herald. basically looked like they were going back down bottom lane, but Core ends up sticking around. I think 100 Thieves loses track of it, and they're able to pull off a massive combo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this initial play forces out the ulti. Santorin had a lot of patience here, didn't over-contest. But again, it's the frozen wave. Bjergsen has done this constantly with the help of his team. Huhi comes to help push this out. They spot Core, but in he goes. R flash W, the dunk over top, the multi-man knockup over top, everything layered.
But I'm so glad you pointed out the wave here. That wave has been there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's been the thing that generates every single positive play for TL this game.
It's beautiful. Like, that is the power of wave manipulation. When you're down in a matchup, when you're losing the 1v1 and the wave is frozen on you, you need help. It's just the way it is at the pro level. And every single time, TL are saying, you're going to come, we're going to come too, and we're going to use the additional power that we already have. I mean, this is a 30 CS advantage at 10 minutes in mid lane. Like, this sort of a mid lane gap just doesn't really happen in pro play anymore.
Yeah, and it's also more because whenever 100 Thieves is trying to send resources to help out Abbeddage, TL is just sending the same number, and then the advantage of the wave and the LeBlanc is enough to turn the tide.
It's going to freeze again. It's the same situation. He needs to reset it, but he's max ranging these Qs with closer behind him because he knows he cannot walk up himself. And Bjergsen, again, can just kind of slowly trim the wave and then pull the range minions to the side if he wants to keep this freeze. So he's going to tank it. You pull it to the side. It's the same play. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat.
They have to bring Tryndamere to break this freeze.
Oh my god. This is actually a disaster. Mid lane is going so bad for them.
Gonna lose plates top. Like, there's already one plate down to the top lane. They're gonna lose the second one here if he gets to keep autoing it here on the Aatrox's side. Finally, the wave is in, but keep in mind as well, like, Krugs were up for the last 40 seconds. Closer lost a Krug camp. That's like 130 gold and like half a level in XP. Bjergsen has earned that for his jungler.
And the other thing we're going to have to track as LeBlanc gets more and more gold in this game is how difficult can LeBlanc make Aphelios' game.
Yeah.
LeBlanc is one of the best champions against Aphelios who needs to stand and hit with the high mobility and the high burst that she's able to provide. So even though FBI did get that first blood that completely turned game one when there was a 2v2 kill, I don't know if it's going to have the same impact here in game two.
He's going to be in range of the teammate. There's the E. Yep, going to be fine. Again, stuns, interrupt, Rakan W. You can kick him out of that. That's why a lot of these stun champions actually work really well into him, because you can interrupt that spell and you either blow the distance away or you prevent the knockup. That's all really positive. But yeah, ultimately, has a teammate. Going to get out. CoreJJ not going to be taken down here. Ssumday gets away from the pullbacks, but still, the sweet spot comes in for Bwipo. It is a pretty large CS lead, looking around 20. There's a few to kill, so maybe call it 15.
Yep.
And now Bjergsen finally going to push a wave in. We'll see if he's going to get a recall or a roam off because of it.
Yeah, I mean, he was creating an early advantage by himself. You know, they had that pressure. He got both of the kills off that mid lane play, which is so good for him because not only does he get the gold advantage from that, but then Ssumday had to drop a wave to bail out his mid laner on the push, which just puts him even further behind. So now it's at the point where he's having to get zoned off because Aatrox is really tough to actually farm these range minions against. Aatrox from ahead will harass you on every range minion, just set up the Qs, poke you time and time and time again.
Looking at Hansa, maybe now a fight down here. Who's going to be stunned up? Will he be the casualty? They're going to find an ulti and good damage out of Inferno, but it's not going to be enough. They don't have the follow through. So Huhi is going to drop. And TL just keeps winning. First blood or not, it doesn't matter. Everyone else is better. Nice start on the tower dive here. Bwipo drops aggro, pulls it back in, and just gets taken down. The Q was backwards.
And it was also the ignite tick when Bwipo went back into turret range that re-aggro the turret. So had a huge advantage, but fumbles it at the last moment there. In terms of the bot lane fight, FBI just wasn't in range to join there. So TL was able to get a nice hit, and the Rift Herald goes completely to waste. So even with the bit of a misplay by Bwipo in the top lane, TL, I think, back in control of this game.
Yeah, I do think that's huge for top lane, though. He's going to get 2 plates plus the kill. Like, that should have been a solo kill. He actually could stay for 3 if he wants. Bjergsen's roaming up to try to prevent that, but Bwipo had that solo kill, but he got too close to the tower. If he doesn't take that additional tower shot, the ultimate's about to expire, and you get 1 auto in after that. You kill this guy, and his game is over. It's so punishing to die without TP.
Actually, much more than just a kill. Bwipo was about 700 gold ahead of Ssumday before that play. Now he's 450 gold behind. So an over 1K head-to-head gold swing in this play.
Plus 3 plates. And Bwipo, I think, did set this up very well. You harass on the range minions. Every time they try to step up, you go for this. You know, Bwipo's initial setup of it was very nice here, chunking him down when the last one hits. It's both parts of that. Ignite goes in, hits the W, and now you just have to stand out of tower range. But he's standing too close to the tower. He took, I would say 2 to 3 of those tower shots were not needed. He knows he absolutely bungled that, and that's his lead gone.
And I gotta say, I think I don't think you're allowed to ignite early against Tryndamere. Like, you don't really want to ult like ignite pre-ult because he wants to use the Q heal when the ult ends to get his health back up. Grievous Wounds ends by that point if you're igniting pre-ult. So like, not only do you lose all your ignite damage because he ults during it, you don't even get the Grievous Wounds during it because he won't press Q until it's done. And that just felt so early on so many levels to me.
Yeah, I think his thought process is basically, I'm going to ignite so he can't delay his ult with his Q because he has the kill guaranteed after. I definitely see what you're saying. I think he would have had the kill either way, you know, had he just not been in tower range, but that's a really costly one because when it's all combat sums versus all combat sums, any mistake in top lane can snowball it in the other direction. And now with full tower is gone.
Yeah, last thing I'll say in that though, Vex was on the way up towards the top lane, so maybe he was feeling rushed because Vex was on the way, but a lot of map trading happening here. TL takes the Dragon, 100 Thieves moves up for second Herald, and first turrets get traded. So Tryndamere completely in the clear now, 1,000 gold up against Aatrox, which was not the case 3 minutes ago.
Oh, 12 KDA coming into this match, 3-1 on the Tryndamere, and now looking at another good look. He's caught up in CS. It was the 20th episode, I think, or so before. Obviously, bot lane, yes, the turret fell. The gold went to Han. Somehow that's going to feel good. It was first turret gold as well, so a bonus 150. But we've got a pretty close game here, under 1K. Comebackable, certainly.
Yep, and now, I mean, for TL, you don't win side anymore, right? You look at the itemization, it's Gale Force, plus he already has the Executioners. He is going to outscale you in that 1v1 on the Tryndamere. So now it's much more about playing for objectives. You know, thankfully for TL, they did get the first 2 dragons, you know, due to that mid lane pressure that they had. They're controlling that bottom side. And so Aatrox is going to be, you know, more about just answering waves and then moving to the fight, dropping waves and dropping tower pressure to try to move for the 5v5 because you don't dominate in that side.
Well, Bjergsen going to be on the side, though, for now, and obviously not an easy answer to him unless we see how the Tryndamere can stack up. Obviously, Bjergsen could probably get away any given time. Chain and Dash going to do a lot for him, and no one's answering this wave. He's getting a lot of time just sitting there, autoing, and you know, no one's going to stop him at all. Everyone's on, a lot of people are on Fog, but he might just kill this entire tower.
Yeah, they're just trading for bot.
Yeah, it's a bit of a two-way trade here where both teams have kind of lost control of the side of the jungle where their split pusher is on. The question will be here is whether or not 100 Thieves sticks around for that second turret. I don't think they can because TL can match, but there's definitely some room for an explosive game here.
Bjergsen can TP, but I'm going to start walking down, it looks like. See if they want to fight for this one. I mean, the charge should happen if they keep Bwipo busy. He can't auto the Herald, so we knew that's going to happen. Ignite comes down. Yeah, puts the heal down. Will not need to do anything else. So
continue.
Survives that one. And he's healthy enough. Burns the Ghost, still has ulti. Not an easy re-engage. They get the charge at the very least. If Trin could stay down there, he'll get something done. But since the wave's getting caught up, no one's still holding top. So it is 100 Thieves losing gold from the Bjergsen split push.
Yeah, going to be able to deny at least a bit there. You know, the big person kind of missing out on the 100 Thieves side is still the Vex. You know, Vex is not going to be a big part of the game unless you can kind of find more your CC is more what you're going for rather than your burst when you're this far behind. But Aphelios obviously doing very well, has a lot of farm, got the first blood, and Ssumday is going to be in a great position now here too. And you look at the junglers, well, Viego is much more of a scaling jungler than the Jarvan. So I think, you know, off of that mistake from Bwipo on top side, 100 Thieves, I think, are in a pretty good spot to be able to potentially contest this next dragon. And I think a lot of this game for TL will come down to the third dragon. If they can utilize Aatrox's power, get that third dragon, threaten Soul Point here, Ocean Soul on Aatrox, makes this champion just like a whole nother level.
And now we get to see what happens because 100 Thieves going to try to find their way back into this one, right? Down 2,000 gold and down the dragons. Love to see what they can do with Tryndamere team fighting to get the next objective. And as they put some wards down, they are kind of setting up the ability to split push. You can see Ssumday really here early to see, okay, who's going to pick up the top wave. But yeah, TL aren't there yet, so no pick to be found. Got to see Bjergsen on ward, actually. Recall just comes through. Bjergsen would have just about right there face check the Tryndamere.
I do think it's going to be pretty hard for 100 Thieves to make fights happen. Throughout their rise, they've been such a good front-to-back team fighting team, right? Huhi and FBI set up fights in a great way, and even in their win against Cloud9, they had triple Orns for Ssumday, so their front-to-back setup was really strong. I'm just trying to think, like, when they're posturing for this dragon, how they realistically get in and lock down Zeri, for instance.
Yeah.
Hansama, who's a flash cleanse Zeri. I think it's going to be really difficult.
I think realistically, you have to have, you know, Tryndamere and Vex coming from the sides. You get a Vex ult into the back line, and LeOna goes forward, and you kind of have to have a multi-man pincer. Because I agree, playing front to back, you can't just go through everyone to the Zeri. You're going to get locked up. And CoreJJ is playing Exhaust, right? He is playing this to actually shut down the Tryndamere in this case. It could have been the Vex if Vex was having a better game, but I think in this case, if Tryndamere goes in the back line, you're getting exhausted and CC'd up instantly by Core, and it's going to make it very difficult to take down the Zeri.
Bit of a fear, but Santorin easily able to jump back into the Krug pit, stay alive. CoreJJ almost in danger, but of course can just W into the Baron pit and be fine now as well as Abbeddage goes for some of the CS. It's going to drop 2 of the melees, so a bit of gold lost by slightly over-clearing. We're on a Void Staff second very early on for Bjergsen as the only real AP threat in his team. No one's really building much MR, but if it's ever built, he'll pen it.
100 Thieves does have first access to River, though, because they were able to clear the mid wave. However, Bwipo was the one who was able to push in the bot lane, so now TL is actually going to gain their access through the bot lane. And 100 Thieves is kind of trapped in here. Yeah,
they're getting surrounded a little bit. This does get somewhat awkward, but TL don't have eyes on where everyone is, so it's hard for them to actually start anything.
Core's going to put the ulti on, going to find the knockup, and there's the dunk already. FBI is gone, and they'll find the next one too, but first they're going to leave him. They're going to go for the rest of the team right now. Abbeddage about to be rooted up. His flash is already gone from earlier, and they find kill number 2 and 3. Ssumday on the way out, but what an engage by CoreJJ.
We said third Dragon setup was going to be big for Team Liquid, and that was a pretty definitive answer that they're okay, and you got to see how hard this game is going to be for FBI's Aphelios to survive. They had the mid-wave push initially to gain access to Dragon, but then, like, who's the front line? Who's stopping the engage? Core gets a flank, Bjergsen comes from the other side, and they take full control of this game.
And Abbeddage's reset was really late. The 4-man squad for 100 Thieves were there very, very early, but they didn't have eyes on where everyone was from TL. And Abbeddage is walking down mid lane. As soon as TL see him, you'll see it on the mini-map. CoreJJ actually spots the Vex up on the top side, and as soon as he sees the Vex, he just engages away from him towards his squad. And Vex is not really a part of this fight whatsoever. Aphelios dies instantaneously there.
And coordination has been there for TL this series, but twice in this game. That's like the same combo we've seen. It's the Rakan flies in as the Aatrox arrives, and multiple people die in that burst.
Yeah, Jatt, you talked to me about Dragon setups on JLXP. Shout out JLXP, by the way. But the setup around Dragon, you know, as you would coach TL, and they're clearly still doing well, so good job, you know, teaching them.
Not quite, but
yeah, anyway. The whole point about Dragon setups, though, is like, you need a point where you're like, now we fight. Right, yes. This is the brush where we kill you. They had mid control. They took the river, and they're like, oh no, we just let them all in the whole time.
So specifically what happened to 100 Thieves there when we're talking about Dragon setups is if you are to go into the Dragon pit, you need a clear spot with which you can fight. If you're just going to be there to start the Dragon, you are almost always going to lose because the other team is going to have free shots to engage on you. I think 100 Thieves actually recognized they're in the wrong spot, which is why they were backing away. They didn't even start that Dragon, but at the time it was too late.
Picked off.
It's been tough. I mean, Abbeddage has just been kind of trapped under a tower trying to answer waves. He's been down 2 levels for a long time now. And with this pressure on the side, dude, he just got so far behind early, he can't really contest the LeBlanc. He's not really a threat in the team fights. The rotations are going to be late because he's trying to answer the towers, and Bjergsen just distorts in there, finishes off that tier 2. And just like that, 7,000 gold lead plus soul point. TL have taken what was starting to feel like a very close game that 100 Thieves kind of battled back into and made it not close at all, and they're just starting Baron now.
And 3,200 of that gold is on the mid diff.
That's insane.
70 CS.
This is like season
kills.
5, season 6 mid lane just like taking over.
It's definitely been a bit of a throwback game in terms of how mid lane is played, but we got to focus in on this Baron because we got to see if 100 Thieves can get it in time.
Alrighty, well, when will you get vision? Bwipo going to find and engage with his jungler. They're going to go for Bjergsen, and Bjergsen's down, the shutdown. FBI is alive, red-white, he just barely gets away. Looking for the next engage, though, as Santorin walks out, and now Aatrox may be left out to drive. Bwipo, will he fall? 2 picked up, 100 Thieves, and it's going to be Sama running away, but the chase is in for the Vex. Abbeddage, he's getting kited. Oh, Sama, you gotta believe it. Takes him down, the only man standing, but you have to believe Baron will still be claimed.
Yeah, this should be Baron for 100 Thieves. That is massive. The 100 Thieves team fight coming up clutch. 4 for 1 for 100 Thieves. We can see it again in the Rocket flip the switch replay here. Bjergsen going over the wall. He was spotted with the sweeper. They're ready for him. And the instant CC there going down onto him. He gets rooted. They dash in with the Vex. They kill him off right away. And FBI here had red-white, has the ulti to try to kite back and survive.
Huhi and FBI, with the positioning of FBI and the instant CC of Huhi, were able to counter that play. I mean, if TL isn't even looking to turn and they just go to burst that Baron, they probably get it. This is such a massive turning point in the game to keep 100 Thieves alive.
Whew. Oh, that was close.
That's why you like bruiser builds. You survive the assassination damage. Unfortunately, Vex them, but his Zonia's Not a lot of AP on that one. Couldn't get the one completed.
But I mean, Vex now got a big injection of gold. Like, that got him to the Zonias.
Yeah.
I don't even think he had that last fight. You know, he got a 700 gold shutdown onto Bjergsen, and just like that, he's relevant.
Finds the engage. There's a knocker, but he's going to be pretty tanky in that one. There's a shutdown. CoreJJ has gone. FBI gets one. Bjergsen's here, but FBI is safe. Stopwatch is burned. Good knockups there from the top laner. Hansama takes down the Vex. In for a bit more. Closing down his GA. A double kill for Hans. The third one now coming for the jungler, and they're going to get number 4 as well. You may have killed one, but everyone else is here for revenge.
The coordination really does come in strong from TL once again. Bjergsen Everfrost with the LeBlanc to set up the rest of the combo onto FBI. They can get Soul, likely, but they're going to have to set up this mid lane first.
I mean, 100 Thieves, they were the ones forcing that, though, it felt like. And now Ssumday, he's in trouble here trying to make something happen, but they can chase him down.
Got Flash and Ghost.
Gale Force, Q heal gets out. Stopwatch out of Bwipo. So Flash for Stopwatch, turret still falls, playing to the edge of Ssumday.
I mean, Ssumday is not with the team. He did not have TP. They did not have eyes on the Aatrox. And 100 Thieves were very confident with the Baron buff, with that gold that they had just gotten. If they take that fight, they lose it. And let's watch this again, because I think they are the ones who are really engaging it here. Yeah, it's Abbeddage going in onto core. They're looking for the play, but Bwipo is already here coming from the Wolf Pit, and the TP arrives from Bjergsen.
It was a 4v3, but it has to be fast because Tryndamere can't arrive, and there are 2 TPs on the side of TL. So once Santorin makes that re-engage, it buys so much time, especially with the GA, for everyone on TL to arrive. And then look at this Bjergsen play. Getting the root, timed with the Zeri hopping over the wall, and just total annihilation by TL.
And it's one of those things that I think because it's that 4v3, it works if you kill a carry, right?
Yeah.
But you're committing all your spells to killing off CoreJJ, and you kill him off, everything is still available for the TL carries. So yes, now you cut it down to potentially a 4v4, but everything is up for TL. They are free firing, and you get punished so heavily for this. This game, though, very close, but TL now, the gold is lying to you because they have the Ocean Soul, and that for Aatrox is just so ridiculously strong.
Yep.
And he is closing in on his GA as well. This is going to be a tough guy to deal with.
Yeah. All his healing amped up by his kit. Obviously, you get a mortal reminder if you're targeting him, but otherwise, he's regenning fast.
Exactly. Tryndamere can mount him in a side lane, but when a team fight happens, there's like Abbeddage is so far behind the mid lane curve, 100 CS down now.
Yep.
FBI really doesn't want to make a stop for healing reduction, so it's very tough for them to fit it in with the deficit they're facing.
Yeah, I mean, Ssumday, you know, he has so much of your gold. Like, he has to be going for the Zeri or LeBlanc or someone. You can't just sit there and auto-attack Bwipo, I don't feel, in most team fights. So, you know, likely it's just up to Huhi to put the Ignite down on him for that healing debuff. But someone's going to have to start picking up some more healing debuffs, because against Ocean Soul, I just think whether you want to do it or not, you don't have an option.
You got to make a stop.
Yeah.
I think Aphelios is sitting on 530 gold. And Abbeddage had 1,300. He just built the Needle Rod. I think that should have been a Morello's, but he really wants the burst from the Death Cap, and they're not going to buy it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can support it in the fact that, like, a 100 Thieves teamfight win is where they burst the enemy champions in one shot, right? Ocean Soul's going to heal you for maybe 50 health in the first, 1 second or so.
Yeah.
And so, like, the only win is where you one-shot LeBlanc. Like, no one's got summoner heal for her, right? Like,
I just think Aatrox wins the whole fight if you ignore him. That's kind of the problem with this champion, is, like, at least in my opinion, right? And that's the interesting thing about League, is that you can look at it so many different ways. But I do think with this guy in the mix, it's like, it's very difficult to deal with an Aatrox. Conqueror stacked, level 16. You have that Ocean Soul in there. The amount of healing you can do is incredible.
Sure. The only thing I'll add is if you are ending at the point where now you got to kill the Aatrox, well, Tryn's probably still alive for that then, right? Like, if Tryn got one shot, then he lost anyway. So I think having one Grievous is enough.
And we'll see.
We'll see how it plays, right? We'll see how it plays, and that's going to be the important part. They're kind of betting on how the fights are going to play out here. Ssumday and Vex, as Abbeddage come back to join the team. Obviously, a huge gold lead, 5,000. Plus, you can generally ballpark 4K for a soul. It's a big lead.
Yeah. So we're a minute away from Baron.
Yeah.
The last time a Baron was about to happen, I was going to talk about how this was a throwback mid lane game. At the time, it was a TL curse. I don't think it's going to be a curse twice in a row. I'm also not superstitious at all. Anyway, we had actually years of League of Legends where so much of it was about pushing mid lane to go dive side lanes. But before that, especially when Bjergsen was winning MVPs, he mastered the hold mid lane to kill mid lane and get mid lane ahead. And this was very much a throwback game to that, and it's why we're seeing this 105 CS advantage over Abbeddage. People don't actually play like that often anymore, but TL has done it so well this game.
And that's why I've been so amazed to kind of, see that bit of a throwback. So much focus back to those early TSM days, how they used to play, creating priority through mid, calling people over, utilizing your advantage to snowball the game.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Bjergsen can make good on that. He's already surpassed the Flame Horizon. Not something I was expecting coming into this. This was a blind LeBlanc, powerful champion, clearly TL willing to first pick it, but Abbeddage has had his answer, and 2 games in a row, Bjergsen has been more than his match, despite the fact that Abbeddage has had an incredible last number of weeks. TL.
Or spotted.
Oh, what's it gonna be? Trinkets down for some vision. Bjergsen spotted here as well. Huhi going in, but of course doesn't have a good way out. Flashes to safety, but they're gonna find the rest of CC. Gonna land his stun. Vex gets a bit down there as well, and Huhi gonna go ahead and drop. And there shouldn't be much more of a fight. We already got a couple people walking back in, so 5v4. Will it even be a battle? FBI forced to flash now away as well. Hansama wants in. Gonna find the zap and the execution. 2-0 so far. GA down now for closer. At this point, it's too late. The fight. Ssumday walks in and says, well, at least I'll pad the stats. But he'll drop as well. Hansama just not stoppable. Another Quadra. Hansama huge in this match. 18-8. A 30-minute victory. 100 Thieves lasted a bit longer, but they've been walked over all the same.
Man, we have seen this story before. Back-to-back games, ending with Hansama quadra kills. Deathless across 2 games. 16 kills across 2 games.
Wow.
This guy in team fights is looking unstoppable, and TL push 100 Thieves to match point.
Teamwork and coordination on full display by Team Liquid here. The game plan was very much isolate mid, pull everything towards mid, but in the side, Hansama was just getting stronger and stronger. He team fights perfectly and ends up picking up that quadra kill to kill the Nexus.
Really, really well done. So we've seen in the series, both teams have been given these huge side lane opportunities. Game 1, bam, first blood level 2, and they walked over it from the bottom lane, dragon control, they spilled forward, everything looked good. This game had an early first blood in bottom lane. We had 1,000 gold lead on Ssumday in the top lane, but 100 Thieves cannot use that. For whatever reason, they cannot use that leverage as well as TL has done in their strong points. Bjergsen got ahead, he walked over the game. When Ssumday got ahead, when FBI got ahead, nothing happened. TL, by far the better team right now.
I mean, I just think they've looked much more on the same page. When they go for a play, it feels like everyone is going for the same play.
Yeah.
You look at the straw that kind of broke the camel's back in this one, where 100 Thieves have that Baron and they go for the play. Ssumday's not there. All of TL were ready for that fight. You look back to the early mid lane play, that coordination on multi-man collapsing, all the CC getting layered. Like, they are just so on the same page.
Yeah, I will say the compositions did make more sense for Team Liquid in this game. They had a huge dive comp with everyone being mobile. Zeri and Rakan could fly in as well, whereas 100 Thieves definitely had some divers with this, like, stick in Aphelios, who's just going to get killed by